But we are super excited today to have Gallie Munoz with us. She is going to share all about customer service at ClearVision Optical as their customer experience supervisor. And we will then afterwards open up the floor to have a group discussion where we want to hear from all of you, the practices you've all put into place, as well as open it up for any questions. And with that, Gallie, the floor is yours.
All right, perfect. So just bear with me while I share my screen. Just let me know when you're able to see my screen.
All good.
Okay, perfect. So again, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to share this with like-minded individuals. Um, so I did want to share a story with you, and I need you to envision this. So it's the middle of the night, and I can't sleep. Now, reasonable person would probably do something relaxing, maybe avoid screens, but I kind of do the opposite. And the first thing I do is dive into social media for some quality mindless scrolling. And just as I'm about to slip into an endless scroll coma, this DIY video sponsored by Home Depot pops up. And in this video, there's this super mom. She's transforming her child's cube shelves into like some chic storage unit. Like she's some kind of home improvement wizard. And for whatever reason, I thought I could do the same. So by the end of this 90-second clip, I'm flooded with ideas. And then suddenly, I'm not just rethinking shelves. I'm envisioning a reading nook, a little dress up vanity, a revamped closet system. So my midnight browsing session has now escalated into a full-blown room makeover plan, and just in time for the holidays. And yes, I do blame Home Depot. So a few days later, I decided to just waltz into Home Depot, with a casual mindset of just going to look at some paint colors. Those were my famous last words. I'm browsing the paint aisle, and an associate named Dan, he came over. Life set, I'm telling you. So he asked the typical question if I need any help. And naturally, I'm like, no, I'm just browsing. But Dan didn't give up on me because clearly he knew I had no idea what I was doing there. So he says, if you don't see a color you like, just let me know. And I can mix something up for you and actually give you samples to take home to try on the walls. Now, did anyone know Home Depot does this? Because I sure didn't. But he definitely grabbed my attention and I started to talk to him. And then the next thing you know, I'm showing him color swatches from my Pinterest. I'm going through social media, showing him all the screenshots that I saved. And he's asking me very specific questions. He's like, what are you working on? Have you done a project like this before? When do you hope to finish? Like very specific questions. And before you knew it, I am knee deep in a full consult with Dan. He became my room makeover guru. So after realizing I'm not very handy with a lot of tools and I never really even painted a room, he led me to a peel and stick wallpaper, a little more expensive, but much easier to do. And there was a very limited option in the store. So he did take me online and he showed me some more options, which led me to purchase some peel and stick wallpaper. He also provided me the tools that I was going to need for this wallpaper. So he did upsell me some tools. And as I'm about to check out at the self checkout, because I'm that type of girl, I'm not going to lie, the cashier waves me on over. So she's like, come on over, I'm open. So I went over to check out. Then I realized because I was in the mindset of just browsing, I left my card in my other purse. So I'm like, how am I going to pay for this? So I casually asked, do you have Apple Pay? Which Home Depot, side note, does not have Apple Pay. But they did have Google Pay, so that saved the day. And as I was checking out, she asked me if I wanted to do a Home Depot store card and save 20% off my order. But I politely declined. And I went out on my merry way. Now, you might be wondering why I'm sharing this particular shopping experience with you. And I do love sharing great customer experiences, and you can ask anyone I know. But did you notice how many different departments played a role in my journey? Some may already have a few, and depending on your business, There were 7 included in my customer journey. We had marketing, we had social media, customer service, sales, IT, finances, and we definitely cannot forget human resources for hiring such an amazing Home Depot employee. So I wanted to share the story with you because this is the mindset that we need to have employees understand, that they do have an impact on the customer journey, whether it's direct or indirect. So I'm going to quickly explain who ClearVision is. We're a family-owned company celebrating 75 years of innovation. We design, produce, and distribute eyewear globally. And for the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to walk you through how ClearVision empowers each team member to understand the role in the customer journey. I'm going to share our unique approach and the successes that we've achieved together. So I want you to look at the model here. And if you notice, create, design, build, and update. Now, this model could change however you want it to change. Make it your own, which is what I did. However, the core ideas behind this model are ClearVision's and a lot of other businesses. So again, I like to describe our culture when I'm trying to train employees. It's almost as if we're building a house. And how do we build a house? The first thing we need to do is we have to create the vision. So for a business, we are creating a strong mission, which ClearVision does have. Our particular mission rests on 4 essential pillars, and one is values. And values is what we like to focus on the most. And within our values, which include respect, integrity, compassion, performance, service, innovation, and fun. And though it's a lot to remember, I guarantee you, if you ask any employee, they can name most, if not all, of those values. So now that we have the mission, we created the idea, we want to know how we're going to execute our mission. How do we get everyone to get on board? So this is where culture will shine for us. We have to design the culture. And for ClearVision, the best way to describe our culture is that we're a customer-centric workplace. And at ClearVision, customers extend beyond our buyers. That includes our vendors, our partners, our community, as well as our employees. So it's crucial for every team member to recognize that each interaction is part of the customer service, like experience, and not just a transaction. So now that we have the foundation, you need to build the structure. So that starts with our team. And how I like to think of it is leadership is like our walls and our roof, and our employees make the house the home. Okay, so that's the easiest way for me to explain how our culture is and how we could continue to share that messaging. And then last but not least is update. Just like any home, you have to constantly go in, you have to update it, whether it's your painting the walls, whether it's, changing the vinyl outside, fixing your roof. It's the same with the business. Even though the foundation is solid and strong and we don't want to change that, we always want to make sure we stay relevant. So this is what ClearVision does. And now I'm going to go into more specifically how we achieve that. And the best way to say it is consistency. Consistency is a very important aspect in everything that we do. So again, we believe everyone in the company plays a role in shaping the customer's journey from the first touch point all the way to the follow-up. So when we envision having our employees practice this, we have to create a journey for them. And again, remember I shared those 4 words with you: building a house, create, design, build, update. So we're creating the journey for our employees. And the reason this is important is because if we want all employees to understand that they impact the customer's experience, we have to show them by action. So it starts all by extensive training and onboarding. And we have a system in place. This is our consistency. So every time a new hire comes on board, certain items need to be checked off no matter what. And how we do this is we actually use a ticketing system. So the ticketing system includes everything, even from the part of the welcome. So if you do live in New York, we do ask that you come into our building so that we can provide a tour for you. And the tour is really a highlight for us because the building shows ClearVision's personality and our culture. From our welcoming front lobby to our thoughtfully designed meeting rooms, every detail reflects our values. And we also provide a welcome gift because, you know, what better way to have someone welcome than to provide them with some great company swag and some little treats. Food is a plus here. At ClearVision, we're very, very big on food. Snacks, food brings everyone together. Along with that, everyone gets to sit with someone in each department. So they kind of just review what the departments do, and they also get to connect with those they may or may not work with on a regular basis. But this allows for connection, and again, we're welcoming you in. So these steps are crafted very purposefully, and we ensure that every new team member feels valued and supported. And we also create a unique training. So each department has their own tailored training because clearly everyone has a different position in the role, but there are certain things that all employees must be trained on. And one is customer service. So no matter what position you play at ClearVision, you'll be sitting with yours truly. And what we do is we explain how we're a customer first culture. And now that we have created the onboarding and the training, again, remember my model, we created consistency, the messaging. Now we have to design the plan. How do we besides telling an employee, how do we show them that they are included in the customer experience journey? And the best way to do it is not by telling them, is by showing them. So we host social events. Each team is allocated with an annual budget for team building. And this allows us to go out and have fun, which is one of our values is fun. So we're able to go out, whether it's mini golfing, bowling, getting together for, yes, dare I say it, more food. We also have a monthly meetup because we are a work from anywhere company. And once a month, we do host on site for all employees to come and do like an employee pickup. So our monthly meetups are usually geared around holidays like Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day. And this gives an opportunity for everyone to see each other. So since we don't have the aspect of the building walking by each other in the hallway, we're able to meet up at the building once a month. And other things that we keep to make sure that our experience here is great is we continue to do rituals and traditions. So we have our beloved Spud Bar that's coming up soon. That's what we celebrate around the holidays. We also do Family Fun Day, which is really an exciting time because we do like to tell our customers that we're a family-run business and we believe in those values of family. So once a year, ClearVision hosts a Family Fun Day where they pay for you and up to 5 members of your family or friends, depending on your dynamic, to come for a full paid expense day and do something fun. And that gives us an opportunity to see the kids that we see in our backgrounds, the stories that we be sharing as parents, or it's an opportunity for us to actually just all spend time together. So again, now we had created our onboarding and training. We designed how we're going to get the messaging. Now, the next thing we need to do is build. So we're building again, right? And how we do that is by investing in the actual team, which are all of our employees. So empowering employees involves more than just granting decision making, right? And I know for a lot of companies, we always talk about how we empower employees, but they never really give you examples of how they really do it. And there are just simple little things that you can do to actually empower your employee. So, for example, one thing that I do is I am available but not present. I allow my team to make their own decisions. There is not a decision that they're going to make that will have our company go bankrupt. So I let them make the decision. And it actually happened just recently. I was off for the day and we had a customer call in and they came into an issue and they were very upset. And my employee decided to credit their entire order. Now, did my employee need to come and get permission? No, they made a decision. They did, for whatever reason, send me a message to let me know what they did, but it's an opportunity again to allow them to make their own decision. And if they did happen to make a mistake, they're not going to get in trouble for it. We applaud it. What I may do is just tell them, that was a great idea, but I may have done something different. It's a learning opportunity, but it allows them to make their own decisions. Another thing that we do is we allow our employees to set their own goals. Specifically in my department, we have initiatives each month, and sometimes I come up with a game plan along with other departments, and they're actually doing it, and they're like, this is not working. And we're able to discuss this at our monthly lineup, our weekly lineup, sorry, not monthly, our weekly lineups, and they're able to give me feedback on what they think would do better. So we allow them to actually go to create their own goals. Another thing that we do is invest in training. You have to invest in training. That is very, very important. And you also have to explain to employees that training does not necessarily mean sitting down and learning a skill. Sometimes training can just be listening to podcasts, changing your way of thinking, just exposing you to other trends. That is training. Allowing them to participate in webinars. Again, some of my fellow coworkers are here. Our company allows them to just come along and support, which is really great. And thank you all for coming. Another thing I do along with other leaders in our company is we delegate intentionally. And this is really important. So yes, can you do it yourself? Absolutely. But when are you going to give your employee the opportunity to show their skills? So the best thing to do is when something comes across your way, the first thing you want to think of is who on my team can do this for me? Just because it came across your lap doesn't mean you're the one who has to do it. So you want to delegate. And I don't mean give them like little tasks that you don't want to do. Give them something meaningful. Let them feel as if they are in charge of something. We also love to reward and recognize our employees. So that's really important. We have a kudos system set up. And with this kudos system, it allows all employees to send a shout out to someone. Your leaders get copied on it. And we also share that at our family meetings, which that happens once a month. We come together and we do share these kudos so everyone can feel that they're appreciated. We have great workers at our company. And sometimes we forget that we so used to everything being done that we can sometimes forget to thank someone or just appreciate them for that extra little thing that they do. We use our Teams channel as well. We have a praise channel there. So that way, every once in a while, you just want to give a random shout out to someone, you can do that. And that's really a great way. It makes our employees feel special. But I know I speak a lot about how my team, is able to connect with customers and how they can make decisions. But we also created a kindness cabinet, which is one of our successful tools. And this is a way for any employee to connect with our customers. So if we have a very unique collections team in accounting, and we're all about customer service. We're very kind, we're not aggressive, and we build rapport with our customers, but sometimes they have great conversations and you find out someone's daughter is getting married and you're like, oh, that's wonderful. So they're able to just go to this kindness cabinet and pick something out and send it to the customer, just a way of connecting, because it is really important for them to feel like they are able to spread happiness in other ways as well. Last is feedback. Feedback is really important. Remember, I told you we need to update the home. So how do we do this feedback? One-on-ones. And one-on-ones does not mean you have to put something on your calendar for a specific half hour. It is as simple as, hey, I have 10 minutes. Let me reach out. You have a few minutes. Let's connect. We will sit, we will talk. I get feedback. Sometimes my team randomly sends me things that they come across, and they're always feeding some great ideas. They provide feedback from customers. We share it with other departments. These other departments take the feedback as well, and we constantly improve. Other ways that we do it is by surveys. We do temperature checks every so often. Sometimes we do anonymous surveys so that people can feel comfortable in sharing. This is how we update, again, improve our home, and we keep the consistency going. And then we just repeat, and repeat. Again, that's how consistency happens. And because we do this, oh, sorry guys, because we do this, we have been successful, and 75 years speaks for itself. We are a small family-owned business in an eyewear industry. Mind you, the eyewear industry is very friendly. However, we're up against some big dogs out there, and we're still in the running, and we're still very, very relevant. Other things are our award-winning services. We're one of the best companies to work for New York. Another thing that we're very proud of is we have many employees celebrating 20 plus years here at ClearVision. I myself am coming up on my 14th year. And one thing that I do love about our company, as well as the leaders and our employees, is that we're always trying to find ways to keep improving. So I'm really thankful that you guys allowed a chance for you to come into our home, and I'm hoping that you will now welcome me into yours and let me know what you're doing.
Oh, love it. Thanks so much, Gallie. We'll turn off the screen sharing for now so we can have a conversation. And I guess the first thing, before we jump into some open conversation, some more questions, curious if anyone has any clarifying questions or follow-up questions for Gallie based on all of that amazing insight that she shared. And feel free to unmute, raise your hand, throw it in the chat.
I'll go. Will you talk about the kindness cabinet and that whole process a little more? Like, how does that stay filled, and what's in there, and who ships it, and all of that?
So it has definitely improved over time. So back in the day, it would just be little things as in pens, notepads. One of our most famous items is the ClearVision mug. So what would happen is if one of our agents was over the phone and they heard someone, was sick, they would send a little mug with a care package in it, some, whether it was chicken noodle soup or some tea, and we would send that to our customer with just like a nice little note. So as the years gone on, we started to expand it to those who didn't get to speak to our customers. So what will happen is, like, let's just say someone got some feedback from someone, whether it's through the website or through a sales consultant, and they wanted to thank this customer for the feedback. They would just reach out and say, can you send something kind over to one of our customers? And that's exactly what we'll do. And we still write out a handwritten note, personalized, and we send it over. And what's really great is that the customer is not expecting it. So when they do get it, it's very they do call back and say, can you thank this person for sending it to me? Sometimes we get emails. A lot of the times I get voicemails from customers saying how great the employee was and how thoughtful they were. So that is our kindness cabinet. And it actually derived from the idea of, did anybody ever hear of the Ritz-Carlton $2,000 rule? So every employee is allotted $2,000 to make a customer stay. If something goes wrong, they have $2,000 to be able to spend on the customer or their guests that are staying with them. So clearly, we're not going to give every employee $2,000 to make someone's day, but it's still the same type of concept. You know, it doesn't really take $2,000 to make somebody happy or to be thought of. It can be something, again, as simple as a mug, as a notepad. My team does actually come up with some ideas. Sometimes I get ideas from employees in other departments. They come across something that they thought was really cute and say, this would be a great idea for the kindness cabinet. And it usually goes along either with their order, or sometimes we do ship it separately, but that's how it gets sent to them.
Thanks, Gallie. I hadn't heard of the Ritz-Carlton $2,000 ones. I've heard of the Target, I think $10 one. Totally different. It's still empowering your employees to figure out pricing to check them out faster. So awesome. Thanks.
Great. I'm curious, and we can open this question up to the group, but Gallie, we'll start with you. What are some ways that you mentioned kind of through the kindness cabinet, other people will come up with ideas? What are some ways that you continue to encourage that collaboration across the departments to really improve upon a customer's experience?
So one of the things is reminding people that it's there. It's very easy to forget. Sometimes my team could speak for this is, you know, when I meet with them one-on-one or sometimes in our weekly meetings, I will give a challenge, like a reminder to send out, you know, 2 kindness cabinets gift this week, things like that. But for the most part, the other departments really the best way to say it is that, like, I don't really have to encourage them because they just somehow reach out to me and say, hey, you know, I've heard this, the sales consultants, can you send something on our behalf? So really what we just want the messaging to be is we want to connect with our employees. So again, the best way to do that is by action. Once you start sending kudos to people, you remind them that this is like how it makes them feel. You remind them that that's what they should be doing for others.
Love that. Yeah. And just, I probably also what you mentioned, the consistency and starting from early on with the onboarding and training, just really ingraining that is part of your culture. And that maybe is where you get to the point where you don't have to do a whole lot of, you know, reminding. That reminding is more inherent. But curious for anyone here that's joining us, are there other things that your teams do to help encourage, we'll say, collaboration in terms of making a customer's experience really great? Any nuggets you'd like to
I've
share?
got something, Katie.
Yeah, please go for it.
Yeah. So hi, everyone. So I am a client service director at the Center for Financial Planning. So we work with clients for their investment management and comprehensive financial planning. So very much that's my role is service and my team's role. And I'd say something that's really big for us is empowering our team to what we call like for wow moments with our clients. So you know, just empowering them to create kind of these memorable experiences with things of like, I think about, you know, they hear from a client, for example, that, you know, they have a grandchild on the way, you know, something like that. Just empowering the client service person to feel free to, you know, send out some sort of a congratulatory gift after that. You know, maybe it's a photo frame, you know, something like that, you know, for the grandchild with the grandchild's name on it, or just, you know, some small little token. But we find that just, you know, it's not like we're trying to just, you know, shower our clients with gifts, but just like, you know, it can be something just real small. I remember one time I gave a client a cribbage board with, you know, kind of like a Michigan themed cribbage board, and he loved cribbage, and he's a snowbird down in Florida. And I remember he told me, I'll treasure this until the day I die. It was like a really meaningful, impactful gift for him. And it cost us like next to nothing. So that's something that is just really important for us is, you know, listening for our clients. It doesn't have to be a gift. It can be some sort of a memorable moment just with, you know, just great service, just going above and beyond the extra mile, or I see the extra smile as Gallie has on her background there like that. But yeah, I'd say those are some things that are unique to us. among other things, but that's what comes to mind.
Love that. Thank you so much for sharing. That's beautiful. And even just a good reminder that in the small ways, you can really just change someone's life personally, and then that impacts the business as well. Love that. All right, curious. We have a question in the chat from
sorry.
Lee. Oh, go ahead.
No,
Go for it.
no. Oh, I was just going to say, we haven't done this yet, but one of my team members suggested something this week, or last week, that I thought was really interesting in terms of thanking clients and making them feel special. So we have a market research company, and we've been playing around with all these AI tools and like what kind of analysis it can do for us versus our human stuff. And her idea was, why don't we like have AI look for themes in the work we've done over the years and like create this like little customized bundle of additional insights. And I was like, oh, what a nice, like, it's not stuff, right? It's more based on what we've done for them. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to implement that in the next month, but I am going to try.
That's a great idea. I like that. Incorporating some technology to help provide an even deeper service. In a way, I love that. Thanks for sharing, Katrina. All right. Question from Lee in the chat. Can you share, Gallie, a little bit more about the process for collecting and sharing the kudos?
Yes, so kudos is very, very huge here at ClearVision. In fact, I remember when I first came on board almost 14 years ago, kudos was something that was really important. So the concept is really just to thank someone for anything, whether they did something above and beyond, whether they just made you smile, whatever it was. The point was to just make employees feel recognized. So over the years, it has transitioned to how we submit kudos, but we even have a hashtag kudos so that we are able to send to the employee, and who does get copied on that are our owners and our co-COOs. They are included in that as well. So it's just, it's a recognition. And then what we would also do is when we have a family meeting, some of those kudos are shared so that others are able to partake in the praise that was happening. It feels good to be recognized, even though it is your job, and I understand that. But we do try to be intentional with our kudos and try not just to send them. At least I don't. I just want to make sure that someone understands that it is actually authentic. And when we have customer service week, which is like 1 week in October that we celebrate, we do try to push the kudos initiative. So what we did is, back in the day when we were in the office, we would have everyone write these kudos, and we would print them and put them on the board so everyone could come into our cafeteria and be able to read these nice thoughts. But now we had to figure out how we could do it virtually. So what we did was we created a kudos chain. So what we did is we started off and we tagged a specific person with the kudos, and then we challenged them to tag someone else. And then it just continued and continued. And we were able to just go down and read all these thoughtful things. And we had people who really don't interact on the Teams channel as much come out of the woodwork. So it was really nice to see.
Love that. I like the chain of kudos. That's a good way to kind of popcorn it on, and kind of going off that in ways that you get people together and kind of have them celebrate each other. Another question from Sarah. For the months without a holiday, is ClearVision hosting events or doing things to kind of get the staff together, help them celebrate? What does it look like in the non-holiday months?
Yeah, so usually what would happen is there would be other type of initiatives. So let's just say we have like Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Customer Service Week. We try to do that as well. We do make it very intentional that we do meet every month, so employees can remember that this is our home base. But what we also do in smaller sections is we host what we call CVO circles. So it takes a group of employees from different departments on a smaller base, and they'll meet somewhere, whether it be a park or at a restaurant, and they would all get together and just kind of share ideas. Sometimes it's intentionally focused on a business topic, like most recently was AI. and how we can implement it. And other times it has nothing to do with business and just us coming together, and they'll just ask them more personal questions. And it's just a way for us, again, to continue to interact with each other, because, you know, when you work from home, you don't get to see the same person every day.
Love that. And curious to pass that question along to all of you. Are there any special events that your company or team does, holidays aside, that really sparks that collaboration, maybe that consistency a little bit, some of those reminders? Anything that sticks out that you'd like to share, how you just reconvene everyone? Any brave soul?
I was wondering,
Perfect.
just as another question.
Yeah.
We're doing a project, right? We're kind of looking into generations in the workforce right now. So anything you do differently depending on the makeup of your team?
Great question. Gallie, curious for you, how does the generational gaps or different generations on the team impact the dynamic and what you're doing for them?
Well, it's so interesting that you say that, because I actually a while ago remember presenting at a family meeting regarding specifically this. I went to something on how to lead the generational gap. But one thing that we need to embrace, and we must make sure that all employees embrace, is that we can learn something from each other, no matter what it is. And you need to show that by leading of examples. We need to embrace the younger generation coming in. They are our future customers, and they do have some great ideas. And just because they're young doesn't mean that they don't have something to offer. But what I do try to remind my younger components over there is, as eager and as much intelligence you have, experience and values is way important as well. And you can learn from the older generation. I hate to say it sound like that, like the older generation, but you can learn from them and understand that they're going to teach you things that are not taught anymore. Because we live in a world of digital things, and the world is different. So we had to raise different. But I do remind our older counterparts that you did raise these young ones. So you can't be mad at how they turned out, because you were the ones who raised them. So that's just, I remind my dad that all the time. Like, well, you raised me. So, just in case we forget.
Love that, just engagement and the constant reminders. And I'm sure we could go on, and this will be a conversation we'll continue into the future, but want to be mindful of everyone's time. And let's give Gallie a virtual round of applause. Thank you so much for sharing with us and opening the ClearVision doors into customer service, and some good food for thought, I think, for all of us, of how we can make sure that we're reminding that everybody plays a role in the customer journey and the customer experience. So thank you all so much for being here and for being a part of our conversation. We look forward to having more of our lunch, learn, and shares, and hearing more of your insight. So Gallie, thank you again. Thank you all for being here, and have a wonderful rest of your Thursday.